Disney Frozen. Summer had arrived at last in the little kingdom of Arendelle. Even the youngest ice harvesters were hard at work, gathering ice for the warm months ahead. As night set in, they headed home with the northern lights to guide them. Inside the castle, Princess Anna excitedly awoke her older sister Elsa. Together, they sneaked into the great hall, where Elsa delighted Anna by creating a magical frozen playground. Princess Elsa loved using her secret magical powers to create ice and snow right inside the ballroom. Anna loved the slides, the snowballs, the snowman. It was all fun. Until Elsa slipped and accidentally hit Anna with her powers. Frightened, Elsa cried out to her parents for help. Anna didn't remember getting hurt that day, or that the king and queen took her to the trolls. She just remembered all the fun she'd had with Elsa. When Elsa heard that the trolls had healed Anna, she was overjoyed. But Elsa also found out that her powers, though beautiful, were dangerous. She would have to hide her magic forever, even from Anna. Days went by, then weeks. Anna missed Elsa. Elsa never came out of her room to play anymore. Anna tried to play by herself, but she was still very lonely. Elsa's parents gave her gloves to control her feelings and her powers. They shut the castle gates to protect Elsa's secret, and Elsa avoided her sister, so she would never hurt Anna again. Years went by. Finally, Elsa's coronation day arrived. Anna loved seeing the gates open. It was so exciting to meet the guests, especially Prince Hans. He was handsome and, well, fun. Elsa was old enough to be queen, but she was worried about the ceremony. Alone, she practiced taking off her gloves and froze everything she touched. Anna couldn't stop thinking about Hans. Then, when she saw Elsa crowned queen, Anna wanted to clap and cheer. She was so happy. And later, Elsa actually talked to her. Elsa was relieved to get through the ceremony without freezing anything with her bare hands. As soon as she became queen, she put her gloves back on and even greeted guests with Anna. When Anna saw Hans again at the ball, they danced the night away. Then he asked her to marry him, and yes, she said yes. But when Anna approached her sister, the queen, Elsa didn't seem happy at all. Elsa could not believe Anna wanted to marry Prince Hans. Anna hardly knew him. The new queen refused her sister's request. Elsa only wanted to protect Anna. As Elsa walked away, Anna reached out and accidentally pulled off her sister's glove. Ice shot from Elsa's hand and spiraled across the room. Without intending to, Elsa froze nearly everything in sight. Anna stared in awe. She hadn't meant to upset Elsa. Anna felt terrible. Elsa had lost control of her powers, of her feelings. She couldn't stop freezing things. Fearing that she might hurt someone, Elsa fled. Anna needed to help her sister, and she needed Elsa to thaw out their kingdom. Everyone was panicking. Leaving Prince Hans in charge, Anna raced after Elsa up into the mountains. But she didn't get far. High above her kingdom and free at last, Elsa created an incredible ice palace. For the first time since she was a little girl, Elsa felt like her true self. Summer was definitely gone. Everywhere. Anna stopped at Oaken's trading post, the only warm place in the middle of nowhere. She met an ice harvester named Kristoff, who knew where the coldest mountain was, which meant maybe he could help find Elsa. Kristoff's best friend was his reindeer, Sven. He even spoke for Sven, and that was weird, but okay, except that Kristoff almost refused to help Anna. So Anna put her foot down and told him she knew how to stop the sudden winter. When he heard that, Kristoff agreed to help. Soon, the trio met a talking snowman named Olaf. Funny, Anna remembered him from her childhood. And wow, she was amazed by all the other frozen things Elsa had created. At last, Anna reached Elsa's extraordinary ice palace. Kristoff waited outside with Olaf and Sven so that Anna could have some time alone with Elsa. Anna was surprised when Elsa greeted her. She looked so different, and they were talking. Maybe they could do that in Arendelle too. But first, the winter had to stop, and Elsa needed to make that happen. Elsa loved seeing Anna, but told her that she had to leave. Elsa worried she'd hurt her sister again. When Anna said that Arendelle was frozen, Elsa was shocked. Lives were in danger, and Elsa didn't know how to fix it. Anna could see that Elsa was upset. She tried to help, but Elsa seemed out of control. Anna watched helplessly as several icy blasts exploded from Elsa's hands. One of them hit Anna. Elsa panicked. She didn't know how to stop winter, and she didn't know how to stop hurting people. Elsa created a giant snowman to show Anna and her friends out. But when Anna accidentally aggravated him, the snowman chased them. Anna and Kristoff ran and escaped over a cliff with Olaf and Sven. Alone in her ice palace, Elsa tried to regain control over her powers. She loved her freedom, but she hadn't meant to harm her sister or freeze Arendelle. Kristoff took Anna to the trolls. The trolls said that Elsa had put ice in Anna's heart. That meant Anna would freeze forever without an act of true love. True love. Anna needed Hans. Elsa was alone in her ice palace when Hans and some other men arrived, looking for Anna. Elsa tried to escape, to hide, but the men attacked her, forcing her to defend herself. Elsa was taken back as a prisoner to Arendelle. After Kristoff helped her get home, Anna found Hans, but he refused to kiss her. Hans didn't really love Anna. All along, he had just wanted to take over as king of Arendelle. Anna felt hopeless as Hans left her alone to freeze. In Arendelle's prison, Elsa knew that she had to get away for her kingdom's safety. She felt her emotions getting out of control. The walls froze and cracked, and Elsa blasted out of the cell. Olaf found Anna and told her that it was Kristoff who truly loved her. If Anna could find Kristoff, then she might be saved. Kristoff was racing back to find her right now. Out in the storm, Hans told Elsa that her actions had destroyed Anna. Heartbroken, Elsa sank to her knees. Hans raised his sword. Racing across the fjord, Anna spotted Kristoff. At the same moment, she also saw Hans. He was going to hurt Elsa. In a final act to save her sister, Anna threw herself between Hans and Elsa. Hans' sword struck Anna. Elsa heard the sound of a sword shattering behind her. Anna! Anna had thrown herself in Hans's way to save Elsa. Slowly, Anna felt some warmth flowing through her frozen body and heart. By saving Elsa, Anna had performed an act of true love. This was the true love that the trolls had meant. Filled with sorrow, Elsa wept. She hugged Anna, no longer afraid of expressing her true feelings. And when she felt her sister thaw, Elsa wept for joy. Anna had saved her with her selfless act of love. Anna felt wonderful. She was alive and warm, and Elsa had hugged her. Because of Anna, Elsa realized she could control her powers with love. She thawed the kingdom. She even made a little patch of cold so Olaf could stay and enjoy the summer he had always wanted. Hans was taken away, but Kristoff decided to stay near Anna for a while. Queen Elsa approved. created a bit of winter for herself and lots of summer for everyone else. She even opened the gates to the kingdom. Anna was pleased. So was Elsa. Together, the two sisters decided that they would never close the kingdom gates again.
Once upon a time, there lived a lonely couple who only wished to have a child. They lived in a little house all on their own. At the back of the house, there was a small little window from which a splendid garden could be seen. This garden was full of very beautiful flowers and herbs. No one dared to enter the garden as it belonged to a witch named Dame Gothel. One day, the woman saw a plant called rampion, which is used to make salads. Dear husband, I have a strong desire to have a salad made out of that plant.
Oh, but that belongs to the wicked witch.
Oh, please do something. I really want to eat those rampions.
Okay, dear. I will try to get it for you.
At midnight, the husband climbed the wall into the garden of the witch. And started taking some rampions. The man took the rampion and his wife made a salad out of it and ate it. But the very same night, there was a knock on the door and the man knew something was wrong.
How dare you, human! Come into my garden and steal my rampions like a thief. You will suffer for it.
Oh, please forgive me. My wife saw your rampions from the window and she wanted it so bad that I could not say no to her.
Oh, if that's the truth, then I will let you have as many rampions as your wife wants, but only on one condition.
What is that condition?
You must give me the child which your wife will bring into this world.
The man, in his terror, consented to everything. As time passed by, the couple gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl. But that very same night, the witch came to their door and took away the baby girl, leaving the poor parents in complete sorrow.
You are such a beautiful looking girl. I will name you Rapunzel and take care of you. Ha 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 ha.
The witch kept her locked in a tower with no doors and stairs, but just a small little window. As the time passed by, Rapunzel grew into a beautiful girl with very long golden locks. But her beauty went in vain because the cruel witch never allowed her to go anywhere. Sad Rapunzel just used to stand at the little window and sing sad songs. When the witch had to visit Rapunzel, she used to ask Rapunzel to let down her hair.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me.
One day, when Rapunzel was standing at the window singing sad songs, la la la, a very handsome prince was passing by. He stopped and looked here and there to see where this beautiful voice was coming from. La la la,
What a beautiful song. Who is singing so beautifully?
The prince noticed the beautiful voice coming from the tower. He wanted to climb the tower and looked for the door, but could not find one. He went back home in dismay. But Rapunzel's singing had touched his heart so much that every day he started going to the forest to listen to Rapunzel's song. One day, he was standing behind the tree when he saw the witch coming. And he heard what she said.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me.
Then Rapunzel let down her long, beautiful hair. And the witch climbed up the tower.
Oh, that's the way to climb up to the tower. I shall do the same.
The next day, when it began to grow dark, he went to the tower.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down to me.
Immediately the hair fell down and the prince climbed up. Oh, who are you?
Oh Lord, you are the most beautiful maiden that I have ever seen in my life. I have lost my heart to you. Will you marry me? Will you be my wife and live with me in my kingdom?
Oh, my prince, I wish that was possible, but the witch won't let me go out of this tower. And if she comes to know about you, she will kill you.
I don't care. You are coming with me now. Come on, let's go.
Oh, prince, I am ready to go away with you, but I do not know how to get down. If I let down my hair, then how will I get down?
You are right.
You have to go now. The witch will come soon.
Yes, don't worry, Rapunzel. I will think of something and come back tomorrow.
That moment, when the prince was climbing down the tower, the witch saw him.
Oh, so he wants to take Rapunzel away. They both will have to pay for this.
The witch climbed the tower after asking Rapunzel to let down her hair.
You treacherous girl, how could you even think of betraying me? You shall pay for this.
The witch took a big pair of scissors and chopped off her long, beautiful tresses. Rapunzel was left all alone in the desert by the witch to live in grief and misery. Meanwhile, the prince returned the next evening to take Rapunzel away.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
The wicked witch let down the long braid that she had chopped off from Rapunzel's hair, and the prince climbed the tower without knowing what danger was awaiting him. When the prince was about to enter the window, the wicked witch chopped off the braid just to see the prince fall off the tower into the thorny bushes under the tower. The prince started bleeding from his eyes as the thorns blinded him completely. The witch cast a spell on the prince, and he wandered in woods around the world without any sight and survived in poor conditions. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the prince roamed about in misery for 2 years, and finally he got to the desert where Rapunzel was left by the witch. He suddenly heard the beautiful, sad voice of his beloved and started shouting in excitement.
That voice! That voice! Is it you, Rapunzel? Is it really you?
He went towards it, and when he approached, Rapunzel said, "Oh, Prince, you finally found me. I missed you so much. I am so happy to see you that I can't stop crying." 2 of her tears fell on his eyes, and they grew clear again, and he could see with them as before.
I can see again. Oh, my sweet Rapunzel, what have they done to us? Let's go back to my kingdom.
He took her to his kingdom. After a year, Rapunzel gave birth to a pretty little baby girl who looked just like her, and they lived happily ever after. Get up, Tofu, or you'll get late for school. Get up, Tofu. Tia, you? What happened? That was... Yeah, I know. That was me in your dream. Now get up and get ready. Tia, I'm getting bored. Will you please stop reading and talk to me? Bored? How can you get bored, Tofu? Why don't you write a story of your own? I can't think up a story, Tia, especially when I'm so bored. Looks like you haven't heard of Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. One sunny day, Alice was sitting next to her sister while she was reading. Her sister had been reading books all morning, and Alice was very bored now. She thought for a while and decided to ask her sister to stop reading. She was about to do that when she saw a little white rabbit with pink eyes run past her. "I am late! I have to hurry! I am late!" Saying so, he ran into his rabbit hole. Alice was suddenly interested in this turn of events, and she decided to follow the rabbit. She went to his rabbit hole and peered down it. Suddenly, the hole gave away and Alice fell into it. She kept falling for what seemed like a very long time. Will I ever stop falling? What kind of a strange hole is this? At last, she landed with a thud in a big empty room. The room had 3 doors of different sizes. She saw the rabbit outside the smallest door before it closed shut. But the door was very tiny, no bigger than Alice's new pencil back home. I must get on the other side of that door. But how will I do that? It is so small. Then Alice noticed a small table in the corner of the room. She went to it to find a small bottle of pink potion with the label "Drink Me" on it. Next to it was a small little key, the size of the smallest door's lock.
I think this key belongs to that door. I wonder what this potion will do to me. Let me try.
And so Alice took the key in one hand and drank the potion from the bottle. Suddenly, Alice could no longer see the top of the table. The empty bottle of the pink potion became too heavy for her and fell out of her hand. She was shrinking.
What is happening to me? I am shrinking.
Once Alice was small enough to go through the smallest door, the shrinking stopped. Alice quickly ran to the door, opened it, and ran out. She found herself in the most beautiful garden she had ever seen. But she could not enjoy it because she was so tiny and all the flowers and plants were so big.
Oh, I wish I was bigger.
Hearing her, the white rabbit came to her and ordered her rather rudely,
Go to my house and get my gloves and fan.
Alice didn't know why the rabbit was so rude to her. Perhaps he didn't like being followed. Nevertheless, she decided to follow the instructions because she was curious and wanted to see the rabbit's house. When she entered the rabbit's home, she saw a yummy-looking cake on the kitchen top. It had a sticker on its plate that said, "Eat me." Alice was really hungry by now. She'd even missed lunch, so she decided to eat the cake. As soon as she took one bite, she started growing again. Soon, she would not fit into the house. She could not see the rabbit's gloves anywhere, but grabbed his fan and decided to run out of the house. As soon as she came out, she started shrinking again.
Oh no, what is this? Will I ever be back to my normal size again?
One of my mushrooms makes you grow tall, and the other side makes you shrink. Alice turned to see who was talking to her. It was a caterpillar sitting on a mushroom. She quickly ate a piece from the side he was pointing and came back to her normal size. She thanked him for his help and asked,
How do I get back home? Could you please tell me that? That path leads to the Mad Hatter and the other one to the rabbit's home.
This time it was a cat that sat in the tree that spoke. Alice thanked him and took the path to the Mad Hatter. She didn't want to meet the rude rabbit again.
I will meet you in the evening at the Queen's Palace.
Halt. further, you must answer my question correctly.
Oh, I love riddles. Please do ask me a question.
Tell me, why is a raven like a writing desk?
Alice thought for a while, but she did not know the answer to the riddle.
Oh, I don't know the answer to your question. Could you tell me why?
The Mad Hatter was taken aback. Never had anyone asked him the answer to his own riddle.
Oh well, I don't know either. We don't know anything here. You can go ahead on the path.
Hence Alice proceeded to the Queen's castle where a game of croquet was on. The Queen was very unkind and unreasonable. If she didn't like someone, she would instruct her soldiers to be off with his or her heads immediately. Her guards had made a mistake earlier in the day, and so she had turned them into cards for the game. When the Queen saw Alice, she instructed her to play with her. You will play croquet with me, and if I lose, it will be off with the head for you.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Alice was very careful. But the Queen was terrible at the game. And Alice had to try really hard to lose. Ha! You lost. If I like, I will have your head for it. A trumpet sounded far off, and the White Rabbit hopped forward. The royal court is now in session, and you will be tried.
Tried? For what? I haven't even done anything.
You have been accused of stealing heart-shaped tarts from the Queen's kitchen. First, you don't know how to play croquet, and then you dare steal tarts from my kitchen? You should be punished. Off with her head.
This is silly. I haven't even stolen anything. I just reached the castle and started playing with the Queen.
She looked at the White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter, the Caterpillar, and the Cheshire Cat. They were all looking at her and smiling.
What is going on?
Alice felt someone tapping her arm. It was her sister. Wake up, Alice. You fell asleep sitting next to me. It's time for lunch.
What a strange dream I had. I promise I will never complain of being bored while you read. That is such a strange story, Tia. Next time you sit to read, I too will write my own story instead of getting bored.
Okay, but I have to be the first one you tell it to. Okay, Tofu?
Yes.